Adam, what was your takeaway from Monday's game?
Disappointing. Like, honestly, to lose back-to-back home games, you're in a stretch of the season there where you think when you're playing home, you're going to come away with 2 wins. You just think that. That's how you have to think. And they didn't. They came out 0-2. And now the Bears are sitting there with the same record. The Lions are out in front. They're in a conference that's loaded. Would they be in the playoffs this morning? I don't think they would be, right?
They would be. They'd be the 7th seed. They'd be number 7, just barely ahead of the 49ers. That tie doing a lot of work right now, Shefty.
Yeah, well, it's not a simple thing to do. They just it feels like they're squandering some opportunities. They should be better than they are right now. And like you look back, like you lose at Cleveland, you lose to Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Just win what you're supposed to win. Just do that. Just do that, and life's a lot easier, right?
Well, this game they've got coming up against the Giants, I think a lot of people would look at it that way, but with those losses, I don't think you can take that for granted right now if you're the Packers. But you tweeted out some important news about the quarterback position earlier this morning when it comes to the Packers' opponent of the Giants, Shefty. What's going on there?
Jameis Winston is set to start at quarterback Sunday for the Giants. Wow. Now, I will say this. If I'm the Green Bay Packers, I don't like that.
Neither do I.
I don't feel good about that. I don't feel good. Jameis, one game, Jameis, that's dangerous. That's dangerous. And how was it described to you? I'm just trying to think. In one of his previous stops, I was talking to one of his coaches, and I'm like, because every time I watch Jameis, I think the guy's impressive. I'm a Jameis fan. And I said to a coach who had him at one point, I'm like, why does he not play more often? And it was something like, I'm trying to remember the exact answer. It was like, he's 50-50, he's 50-50, or he gives the other team just as good a chance as he gives you. It was something like, the way he throws picks sometimes. And that's the Packers' hope here, that you hope you get a couple of bad Jameis throws that you take advantage of. But, this is not a great setup for the Packers. Mm-hmm. You got a head coach who's fired. The team, will react in some sort of way. You got an interim head coach trying to make his mark. You got Jameis Winston back on there's a lot of variables there that I think make this a tougher game than it would have been 2-3 weeks ago.
So, Adam, if this thing does go south, and for Green Bay, and I don't think it will, I mean, I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl, but I just don't think it'll go south. But if it does, is there a Ben Johnson out there that's going to be a lead candidate for a head coaching job?
You're already firing Matt LaFleur there, Chewy?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of chatter, right, Gabe? I mean, people are not happy here. And I'm just saying, if they miss the playoffs, I mean, who knows what happens now. Ed Policy has said, look, you're not getting an extension. So I don't know what the hell's going on. And I think a lot of Green Bay Packer fans are in that same position.
Well, I'll say this, that if we go back to when Ed Policy took over, I haven't fact-checked this, so I'm talking off the top of my head, like of various conversations I had with a lot of people over the summer. But I believe LaFleur and Goody both have 1 year on their contracts after this year. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Correct, yeah.
Okay. And I believe that in the past, the Packers typically have extended coaches, general managers with 2 years left in their contracts. I believe that that's true.
I believe that is also correct, yes.
Okay. So we now have a history that hasn't been followed. We have LaFleur and Goody headed into, you're not going to have, here's the deal. You're not going to have your head coach and GM going into the last year of their contracts. You're just not. Mm-hmm. So either you're going to extend them or you're going to let them go. But to have a lame duck coach and GM, that's not productive for anybody. Mm-hmm. For anybody. That's not a good idea. So if the Packers fall short of the playoffs this year, you can, I was surprised after the game on Monday night. I know they lost, and it's their second straight loss, and I know the last 2 weeks have been disappointing, as we've said. I was surprised how much speculation there was about Matt LaFleur's future. Like, I was like, wow, we're 10 weeks into the season. We're headed into week 11, and it felt like open season on Matt LaFleur. That surprised me a little bit. Now, I'm not telling you it's wrong or invalid, and we're raising the point here. I guess we're answering the question. Something's going to be done one way or another because they are going to be lame ducks. So it is relevant. It's always jarring to me to talk about the security of a coach in season, especially one that has had great success. So it's just a little odd, but I understand why it's happening.
Adam, do you think the Giants did the right thing in letting Dabble go?
Dable.
In season? Dable?
Listen, I never like coaches being let go in season. To me, like, just season play out. What do you accomplish now? But I'll explain to you why I believe they did it. Here's a team that essentially had 4 double-digit leads on the road this season and lost all 4 games.
In the fourth quarter.
They should have won at Dallas earlier in the year. They were up double digits, and they let the game get away. They went to New Orleans. They had a double-digit lead on the Saints. They should have won the game. Instead, they had 5 turnovers and lost. They went to Denver and with one of the all-time debacles that we've ever seen, and somehow lost a game that, what were they, 24-0 or whatever it was in the fourth quarter. Like, it was incredible. I don't remember. It was wild. Like, that sort of result has never happened. And then last week, they're up double digits, 10 points against the Bears in the final minutes and lost the game. So I think that the owners lost faith in the coaches. And on top of that, the most important asset that team has is its young quarterback, Jackson Dart. And he has been in the blue medical tent this year 4 separate times to be evaluated for concussions. And then after he goes in the tent on Sunday and is evaluated, you run him on a quarterback sneak on the first play back. Like, not a great look.
No.
Whether it's HVAC, sheet metal, or welding, Smart 18 members are trained to be the best in the business with top-tier wages, unbeatable benefits, and a lifelong career support. It's not just a job, it is a career. Learn more, smart18.org, and start building your future today. And where I come down on the LaFleur stuff, Shefty, like, I understand the frustration. I mean, he's the one who's calling the plays, and they had back-to-back games where if you score just 2 touchdowns in each game, you're going to be walking away winners in both those contests. Then they were unable to do so at home. But also, like, Matt LaFleur is pretty well respected around the league. Like, if the Packers, let's say they do miss the playoffs and decide to move on from LaFleur, I got to imagine he would be a top head coaching candidate, and he'd be scooped up pretty quick, right?
I agree with that. And that's always the interesting thing. I think when you look at this, I was talking to some college people yesterday. We were going over the openings at the college level. And they're like, I think there are 7 openings at big schools, 6 or 7.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And the person said to me, and this person's plugged into the college scene, they said, who are these schools hiring to fill those jobs? Who do they think they're getting? And I would say that the same thing is true at the NFL level. Let's just say there are the usual 5, 6, 7 openings at the NFL, and there already are 2 in Tennessee and New York. Who do these teams think they're going to hire? And I think that if the Packers parted ways with LaFleur, I'd feel very confident that he'd get another head coaching job. And I think there are other head coaches out there where the same is true right now. Like, they would vault to the list of amongst the top candidates available because I think teams are looking for experience. So, and if you're Green Bay and you decide to make that change, let's play it forward. Green Bay does fall short and they don't make the playoffs. And they decide, or they're thinking making a head coaching change. I think when you do that, I think you have to have a sense of where you're going to go to get a guy that you believe is going to be a better head coach than Matt LaFleur. Who's that going to be? Can we get him? How is that going to happen? And if you believe that there's a guy out there, then you make the move. And if you don't, then you don't.
Man, it seems like to me, Adam, by the way, that you just described exactly what New England decided to do last year. Like, they knew Vrabel was out there. They decided Vrabel was their guy, and now you're seeing that play out in New England this year.
Well, but let me. Yes. That was an obvious one, though.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah, and I don't know if that exists in this head coaching cycle.
Yeah, but let me ask you this.
I remember speaking to people in the Patriots organization initially, and they're like, "Oh, Gerard Mayo's doing a nice job. Like, he's doing a nice. Why would they do that? Why would they?" I'm like, "Well, we'll see. You know, like we'll see what they do." And they ultimately decided that Vrabel would be the guy. And by the way, you know, it's not just Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel's a great head coach. He's a great head coach. Mm-hmm. But Mike Vrabel had an offensive coordinator in waiting, Josh McDaniels, who wasn't getting another head coaching job, and whose family lived in New England, and who was the perfect guy to work with their young quarterback. So really, every part of it was perfect. Okay, so I don't know that perfect scenario exists for the Green Bay Packers.
Well, let me ask you this, Adam. If Hafley continues to coach the defense, who's playing unbelievable like they are, he'll become a candidate. And in talking to Ron Wolf, years after he retired, he said one of his biggest regrets was letting Andy Reid go to Philadelphia because he didn't have head coaching experience.
Well, you know what? You raised a great point. And let me say this right now. I believe Jeff Hafley is going to be an NFL head coach. Okay? Mm-hmm. And I believe right now, if we're going to stretch this out further, it's funny. Somebody called me yesterday, an owner of an NFL team. And they said to me yesterday, they go, "Hey, who are the Giants going to hire as a head coach?" And I said, I don't know right now. I don't know if they know. And he goes, "Do you have any names that you think could be on the radar?" And I said, one name that I think is interesting here, and this is what I said to him, is Jeff Hafley, considering his Jersey ties. And he goes, "I'm so glad you said that. I was calling to tell you that Jeff Hafley would be an amazing choice for the Giants. And I just want you to know that." Random owner. Wow. Okay?
That's interesting.
So that answers your question, Chew, when it comes to Jeff Hafley. Shefty, we always appreciate the time. Look forward to talking to you again next Wednesday.
Guys, big week for the Packers here.
I hate that it's a big week suddenly for the Packers. really didn't think there's going to be a big week, Shefty, 2 weeks ago.
Wait, interesting week for the Packers and for Chewy as he makes his Thanksgiving choices. Like I said, Chewy, you can't go wrong with turkey sandwiches. You just can't.
I'm leaning that way, Adam. Thank you.
Hey guys, it's Jen from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Thanks for watching our clip. I'm sure it was super informative and educational. I'm just kidding. I love those knuckleheads. And we do it live every Monday through Friday from 7 to 9 a.m. on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee. Make sure that you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you get informed anytime we drop new content.